Hey everybody. Well, I actually got 2 days off, 2.5 if you want to call it, I don't know, time for fun. I am going to go to a place called Ghost Island, and there's going to be a lot of explaining to do about it because it's not necessarily the fact that there's ghosts there, but it's nicknamed after an old campmate of mine that his name was Ghost. And I'll get into why his name was Ghost later on. I was going to set the camera out here on the side of the shore, but the water's so low it's just a giant mud hole right now. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I want to go to Ghost Island. I hadn't been there for a long time, and like I said, we've nicknamed it after my friend Ghost. His real name was Cecil, and Cecil died about probably 5 or 6 years ago, I think. And Cecil had a very unusual life. He was one of the campmates of the original people that I camped with, like Flathead Ed and Big Nose, and of course there was Johnny and Tim and Scott, and they all had their nicknames, but Cecil's name was Ghost. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an old school jungle hammock like what he had. And I don't know, I think it's an M1965, and I don't know if they used them in Vietnam or if they used them in World War II. I'm not real sure. So y'all can look at it and tell. Now, a lot of you hammock campers will say that's uncomfortable. Why don't you get a real hammock? Well, I've got 5 or 6 real hammocks, but you know, I kind of want to honor Cecil by setting this up, and I've got it, and I've tweaked it a little bit. You know, I know how to make it comfortable. So let's paddle to the island, and I'm gonna get off, and we're gonna set us up a hammock. All right. So now there's the shore of the island right there. I can't go all the way around it because if you'll see up ahead when we get up here, there's a bunch of debris in there because the river is so low. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the kayak up on here, and then we're going to pull out some of this gear and take a look at it. I'll drag the kayak on up a little bit more, and I think this looks like a good spot right here. Well, it's going to be a muddy mess too. Alright, let's go on up here. Yeah, it's going to be a muddy mess. Alright, I'm hoping I'm going to get all this on camera. Yeah, I think I can see myself. Let's see, now how can I get out without dumping everything? First thing's camera bag. Camera bag, wallet, and cell phone. I don't want to lose that. Alright, so let's try this. Put this over here. Or I can drip all over myself. Come up here. Dig me a little spot here so I can get up. Let's see. There we go. Easy peasy. Let's drag this baby up on shore, try not to hit the camera. I understand now completely why he loved this place so much, because it's pretty close to the road, so there's a decent place where you can pull off on the side of the road on a dirt road and park. And the other cool thing is the only way here is by boat. Small boat. You can't get a big boat in here. The creek's usually, you know, yay small. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me get back here behind the camera. It's a very, very shallow thing, but the cool thing is it really doesn't take that long to get here. So I'm gonna try to climb up this hill. Well, no, first I'm gonna pull everything out of the kayak to show you what all I have, because a friend of mine was telling me one time, he said, you know, you need a canoe so you can carry a lot of gear, but right now I've got like 60 liters of dry bags in here, which is pretty cool. Plus my camera bag, it's another 10 liters, so that's 70 liters dry. And then I've got something strapped to the top of the kayak. So let's take a look, see what's inside there real quick. I'll get everything out. What all I got in here. First, I'm gonna do this thing. old school Thermarest insulated pad. Alright, what do we got in here? Okay, I got this thing. I'm going to set this right here. I can put all my gear here so I can see it. Kind of muddy here. Alright, Thermarest pad. 10 liter dry bag. Cook kit, food, another 10 liter dry bag. $20 dry bag. And then behind the seat here, I got another 20 dry bag. Up front, let's move this over. Up front where my feet are, the blue bag is the camera bag and my wallet and cell phone. I wanted to keep it separate. Up front where my feet are, it's my jungle hammock. So, let's take a look. See, there's everything I had in my kayak. And honestly, it didn't make it any harder to paddle with all of this stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that hammock up there and that dry bag and that Thermarest, and then I'll come back down and get the stuff later on. But the main thing is I want to set up that old school hammock. Alright, so let's take a look around here. You can see down there's the kayak and the other gear. That was kind of a messy operation coming up the hill for an old man, but it was fun. Oh, you can also see a better view of the creek right there. See how narrow the creek is? Now if you can see over here, there's a lake. Now see, there's a lake over there, if you can see, which is there's a creek on that side of the island, there's a lake on that side, there's a creek on this side, and this over here is the river side. This is where we want to be, because, man, you can tell ain't nobody been up here forever. This ain't nothing but thorns. Good grief. See, there's the river. Let's go over here. I think this looks like a decent spot. Right here. There's a tree. And there's a tree. Perfect spot. So, set this gear down right here. What we're going to do now is I'm going to set the camera on this tripod up. And I'm going to put on my do-rag. Alright, so I'm at the spot and I got everything here. Well, at least everything that I need. Oh, this bag is a Tebrion, in case anybody asked. I bought two 10 liters and two 20 liters. I got them off Amazon. Now it's kind of hot on the way in. I'm already sweating under that fleece cap. So, it's time to put on a do-rag. People are always asking about these do-rags, and all they are is basically a triangular piece of cloth, like this. Wind's blowing. And you just lay it over your head. Put the tail end down, lay it over your head, and put it right over your eyes, and then pull back and tighten up. Keeps the sun off you, keeps the bugs out of your hair, and it looks cool. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is the way I'm going to lay my hammock out. Can't hardly see much on here because of the glare. First thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna take out the old machete and I'm gonna clear some of this stuff out right here on the ground. People are probably asked, they always do, what kind of machete is that? That's a Condor Warlock. Put it backwards on your thumb, flip it up. That's how you hold landing. Alright, you got to get all that stuff out of the way. I'll take the lanyard and put the lanyard in that loop. Right there. Alright. You got to get all that stuff out of the way because, you know, if you lay it on thorns, you get a couple of holes in it. Do that 20 times and your gear is really screwed. So let's unroll the hammock and take a look at it. I was going to try to use a cordless microphone because of the wind. I brought the cordless mic, I just forgot the batteries. So I'm going to have to yell, I guess. Hopefully you can hear. Alright, so this thing is held together. I got some paracord here holding it all together. Unravel it here, because you can always use paracord for all kinds of different chores. And let's roll it out. You got rope on one end tied up, bridge style. And you got rope on the other side, bridge style. Gonna have to hold the camera to film all this. See, this is old school. I don't know if this is called a World War II hammock or a Vietnam hammock, but it is old school. And see, right now it's upside down. This part is the roof, and then this part is the body of the hammock. And you can see all those strings tied to it. It's bridge style. It's not necessarily the gathered in hammock type. And see, if you don't fold this thing up right, it's a nightmare to get undone. But basically what you do is you just tie the rope to the tree and then you flip it around from there. Now the proper way for this thing to be set up is it's got all of these strings, this bridge style hammock that comes up here to this clip and this rope. Now the way the top of the tarp is attached is by bungees. That way when you pull it good and tight, you'll be pulling all these strings tight and you won't be pulling this tight. So what I'm going to do, unlike a regular hammock, you'll pull this one tight. So as you can see, I've got this pulled up tight, and the bridge part where these strings are has a droop to it, and this bungee's holding the roof. It's got a net all the way around it with the plastic sides with a cloth bottom. And so what you do now is you cut a stick and you run a stick through here from side to side, and that's what makes the pointed roof of it, like that right there. So you grab your stick, cut it off. Look at the end of the hammock. Man, glare's terrible. But then you just tie this up. You slide it through here. And then you tie it up like this. And that's what gives you the roof. The A shape. If you got a forked end, that'll work pretty good. You just have to make sure not poke yourself in the eye. So now you just tie off the other end. So there it is so far. It's tied up right there. There's the end of it, bottom end. Now these sides right here that are drooping down, you can't put a stick on them, so what I'm going to do is take that paracord and I'm going to pull them out kind of taut to help make up the roof. That's how it looks so far. The only really bad thing about this setup I don't like is you always got to watch that cord right there, because it's always like a place for you to trip. Other than that, I really like this. I gotta say, when Nick is around, it is fun to film, but it's just, it's unreal trying to film myself here. Absolutely unbelievable. The glare on everything. I know y'all always hear me complaining about it, but if you ever get a chance, go out and try to film yourself. Alright, so we got this thing set up, and now it's got a zipper here on the side. So let's just unzip it. Now there's no pressure on the net. It's all on the bottom here. This stuff right here, the bridge strings, they all connect to the bottom, and this netting is loose. So if you ever set one of these up and the netting is tight, that's wrong. Don't get in it. You're gonna rip it. So let's unzip it. And now all this has got is a thin cloth bottom, and so if you try to put, well, actually it's two layers. It's two layers. This bottom is hanging down, and I don't know if it was meant to stuff with leaves or insulation or what, or just to create an air gap. But this is like a floppy bottom, and then it's got like a canvas inside, so it is a double layer right there. But what I like to do is I like to put the old thermarest in there. Take off these belts here. The webbing pieces and the webbing pieces, I just like to hang them over the end and use them like a drip line. You know, because I mean, I got to have some place to put them. Now see, that's got drip lines on it. It's got a couple of drip lines, but I figure I have to put these to where I can find them anyway, so maybe it'll act as an extra drip line. Because it's all nylon and plastic, it's not going to hurt it. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to let you look inside before I put the thermarest in it. I don't know, I don't understand why people don't like these. Give a minute for the camera to adjust. I guess because I could understand regular hammock campers, and I've got regular hammocks, you know, before You know, before I get 5,000 complaints saying, why don't you get a real hammock? I've got a real hammock. I think that's a pocket right there. Well, I've got 4 or 5 real hammocks. I got skeeter beater. I got 2 Enos. I got a skeeter beater, and I got a Yukon, and then I got an East Tree. I got a bunch of hammocks. But there's just something old school about this one that I like. Pull this up. Now I have a lot of different mats. Okay, the camera's adjusted. It takes a minute for it to adjust to the darkness. Now I have many different inflatable mats, but this old Thermarest, the width and the height of it seems to be perfect for this thing. See, not only have I got the 2 layers underneath it, but now I've got this layer here. Now inside this one dry bag, the other dry bags are over there. Unroll it, and I have. Since I've got the cloth layers under me and the Thermarest under me, all I need is something on me. So I have a snug pack jungle blanket and a snug pack jungle blanket. Doesn't hurt to have 2. I'll start out with 1. Well, actually I might as well go ahead and open up both of them. Throw them in. I don't know if I'm going to need them or not. Let's go ahead and pull it out. I would have brought whoobies, poncho liners, but these 2, they're a little thicker and they come in stuff sacks. There you go. So now all I got to do is, when I go to sleep, I'm going to sit right here, take my boots off, and then crawl right in. There's the tag for this thing. It's on the inside of it. Alright, I'm inside here and everything's looking pretty good. I think I got everything going my way. Now this end up here has a net end, okay? And then the other end, the foot end, I believe, has a cloth. Now I may be wrong. Some of you old veterans, you may know which end is which. But honestly, I think 1 blanket is going to be enough. But I'll have the other one handy. I may have the other one as a pillow. So, you know, if I don't want to use it. This is an Under Armour cold gear shirt. Very, very expensive, but I got it on sale half price. And I used to think it wasn't worth the value, but man, this thing, it's incredible. It's made out of a material called modal, whatever that is, but it works. Talking to you, I'm going to take this other blanket here and use it as a pillow while I tell you about Ghost. Now, real quick, when I got into this hammock, it sunk down almost to the ground, which is perfectly fine with me, because something this old, with these old strings and the old rope and everything, you know, I lay in it for a while during the day, let it stretch out, and then when I sleep in it at night, I may tighten it up a little more. But the thing is, I don't want to be real high off the ground in something this old, because right now if I fall, I'm going to fall about 6 inches, and that ain't bad. So I might as well tell you a little bit more about Ghost. Ghost, his real name was Cecil, and he was a pretty good guy, but he was married 3 times. And when I first met him, he was married to his first wife, and he had about 4 kids. And so as far as I know, you know, I'm not getting into no last names because as far as I know, his kids are still alive. But he was married 3 times, and there was a lot of things in his life that he was battling, and I ain't gonna get into any personal details because what I knew of him, he was a really good guy and I liked him. But anyway, this was his hangout. Ghost had an old aluminum canoe, and this was a place that was quick and easy for him to get to, and he was Flathead's mechanic. So he worked Monday through Friday on cars. I don't think he worked weekends. And according to Flathead, he would come out, Ghost would come out here because he was having trouble with his wife and his kids. And so this was a quick, easy getaway. They would get into an argument. He'd get his canoe. He'd hop in his 61 Chevy truck and drive down here and spend the day or the weekend or the night to get away. And then he'd come back and then things would be good. So anyway, that's why we call this Ghost Island. But anyway, now to the other part, how you got the nickname Ghost. Everybody got nicknames, and I think people love listening to these stories. And the story of Ghost is he had an addiction to liquor. He loved alcohol, absolutely loved alcohol. So we were on a camping trip one time, and all of us went out with bow saws and axes and machetes and was chopping up firewood, and it was laying around everywhere, and we got tired, and it was going to be cold at night, and we were going to be cooking. So none of us, we were sitting around a campfire, and we had started a small fire, and we were like, who's going to go out and gather up all the wood? It's dark. We only got one headlamp. So Mike pulls out a bottle of liquor and gives it to Cecil and says, go gather up all that wood. And so he's like, all right. So he puts the headlamp on, and it's aimed out, and he says, I'm gonna take a swig first. And he literally turns up half the bottle, and then he screams, woo! And so then he goes out, and he's out there, and he's staggering around, and you can hear him singing to himself and screaming and hooping and hollering, and he's drinking the liquor, and he's got this headlamp, and he keeps falling down, and we see him, and we're all laughing, and when he falls down, that headlamp gets bent, and it's shining on his face. And so we hear him out there laughing and staggering around, so his head's bobbling around and going up and down, and it's got this light shine directly on his face, and it's like just a scary, ghostly looking face out there just kind of floating around and falling down. And so Max says, look at that old boy, he looks like a ghost out there floating around. And so that's how he got the name Ghost. I miss you, Cecil. You're a good guy. You know, may you rest in peace. I'm at your island, and I'm in your choice of hammock. So, you know, I miss you, brother. Hope y'all enjoy the video. Hope you enjoy the story. Some people say they like the stories. And if you didn't, I'll come up with a better one. Because one day I'll tell you the story of Maverick and how he got the nickname. Problem is Maverick's still alive, so I don't want to tell it. Y'all take it easy. Y'all get out. Y'all enjoy life. Don't worry about what's going on in the world. Just worry about your friends and your family, and try to make your life happy and peaceful as possible. And we shall see you in the next one.